What's up, everybody? It's Draymond Green from the Draymond Green Show. Make sure you subscribe to the Old Man and the Three.
And it's JJ and Tommy. Make sure you subscribe to the Draymond Green Show and the volume. Run it back.
Before we get to the new media, is there anything that Draymond has said so far that you disagree with?
What? See, here's the thing. Draymond's my dude, man. You know, I mean, he listen, I don't have to agree with him. I agree with him most of the time. I truly do. You know, when he talk about my man Skip Bayless, we slightly disagree with that. You know, but you know, as I've told Skip on several occasions, you know, and Skip ain't scared to eat it, you know, just because that's my man. He's the one that brought me on First Take. I'm always have some love for him, but that don't mean I agree with everything that he says. And so when a player claps back at him the way Russell Westbrook did the other day or whatever, or Draymond did or others have done, you got to handle that. You know, and that's one of the things that, you know, I've often told people on First Take, you know, this is a place for authenticity. You cannot talk about people and then get sensitive when they talk about you. Now, you can address what they say. That's entirely different than trying to address who they are.
Right.
And so I'm very, very specific about that.
And honestly, that's one of the things that I truly respect about you. And I get pissed off when media start talking about all this other shit, punching guys in the face and like all this other stuff. And my whole cry about all of this, or not cry because I am, but it's let's talk about basketball. Right. Like if we can talk about basketball, that's the discussion. That's what the topic should be. Let's keep it basketball. And I think so many times, and when I speak of the new media, and everybody's like, oh, but no one wants to just hear you talk X's and O's. It's not just X's and O's, but it's a way you go about your business. It's a mindset of how you go about your business. And it's the reason that on the podcast I said, Stephen A., you kind of part of the new media too.
He got me there.
You know, there's some stuff that you do.
I was personally shocked. He put you as part of the new media. I was shocked.
Oh, for sure.
You don't know me that well, JJ.
The reality is, and I'm not just saying this because you sat here, because I've said it when you're not sitting here. You tell the truth. Good, bad, or indifferent, whether you like the truth or not, you tell the truth. Now, he do get to doing some of that old media stuff sometimes, and we have to get on him about that. But there's a real appreciation for how you go about your business. And most importantly, what I appreciate and what I don't appreciate quite about others is there's not much authenticity to others, but you're authentic. And I appreciate that, and I applaud that.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I would say this. He got me there, you know, because he was like, Steve, my friend, you part of the new media too. And then he broke down the definition of new media. And I was like, damn, he's right. He's got a point. You know, he got me there because, you know, you got a lot of folks in media. And one of the things that I try to encourage folks is, listen, I played college ball and I got injured. But even if I was 100% healthy, I couldn't shine y'all's shoes. That's just a fact, okay? I wasn't going to get to the NBA. I wasn't good enough, damn it, period. There are things that pro athletes know that we don't know because y'all experience it. You're in the locker room. You know what goes on. What I try to do is make sure you know, as I told you, JJ, it's not that I know what you know. It's that I know enough because I've been reporting on the game for decades to say, wait a minute, there's more to this story. You gonna give it to me or not? That's the key. The problem is you got too many people in media that want to act like they know what you know.
Facts.
No, you can't compete with dudes that are actually doing it. What you can do is say, covering the sport and giving you an overview, following it, reporting on it, cultivating resources, being given intel, learning what you learn. Okay, this is what I know. This is what I've heard. What you got to say about that? See, when you do that, then y'all have nowhere to go. Now, when you talk about, where I would get on Draymond about is when Cedric Maxwell, for example, said what he said about him. Cedric Maxwell is a former player, right? And I don't think Cedric was saying, hey, he would have punched you in the face. He was talking about the culture that existed in the 80s. Now, the media will bring that up. Now, if the media sits up there and says they would do it or that should happen to you, that's crossing the line. Absolutely. But if they said, well, back in the day, the way that they played, that would have happened, you got guys that would take it as if the media is saying that's what they would do. And I'm like, well, if you're going to be critical, listen to what, not that you didn't do that because you did listen, but you got a lot of cats that they don't listen. They'll read the headline. You didn't read the article. You didn't watch the clip. Your boys came up to you, family members, whomever, and they come up to you saying, I can't tell you how many times somebody came at me and I was like, did you see what I said? Did you hear it? Did you appreciate it in context? Because you want context when we talking about you. What about context when you coming back at me? And so, but the key is not to run. See, where you lose is when you never go to the games, when you never talk to the athletes, when you never talk to the coaches, the executives, or anybody, and then you just want to go out there and run your mouth. I pride myself in not being hard to find. Anybody who's ever worked with me knows the only reason you don't see me in the locker room is because, damn it, they got me to do many shows. And I just don't have the time to get to, and the only place I have time to get to is the Knicks, and I'll be damned if I'm going to the Knicks game for so much. I'm not going to let them depress me any more than they already have.
Stephen A., I appreciate you trying to be self-deprecating about your basketball skill, but let's acknowledge you once made 17 threes in a row.
And you know, when Winston-Salem State brought me down, that's how I got my scholarship. I drilled 17 threes in a row and never made a damn jump shot since. But that day, I was all world.
Show up in the moment.
It got me a full scholarship.
Draymond, just for everybody here, and obviously, you know, people who are going to listen to our podcast this week and see our videos on YouTube, and you beautifully explain new media, and I have the quote on my phone, but I would like you to just kind of explain, because I said this on your show.
He did.
10 days ago. I said I would love for Draymond to explain what new media is. Can you explain what it is?
100%. Most people think, and I know that was kind of the perception of the media as well. When I first started saying, like, by the way, the leader of the new media is JJ Redick, just so y'all know. It's not me. This guy on TV every day holding it down. So I got a lot of appreciation for JJ. But
he picked against you, but go ahead.
No, that's totally fine. See,
I didn't change my pick mid-series.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with somebody picking against us. Stand on it, be knowledgeable, and don't just pick against you because you're a hater. Don't pick against us because you're a hater. And so that's what I have a problem with. There's no hate there. He had analysis that shit was wrong, but he did analyze. And so you got to give him some credit.
I admit I was wrong, Draymond.
Yeah,
I admit I was wrong.
The way you
wrong
called me a dick, I got to get you back. But the new media, and like I said, everyone thought I'm speaking like, oh, athletes doing podcasts or athletes doing media. Like, athletes been doing podcasts. JJ Redick, CJ McCollum, athletes been doing media. Like, you've been seeing athletes go up on a stage and try to debate with Stephen A. He tried to get me up there. I'm no fool. I didn't go to law school. I'm not going up there. But I'll go on a Stephen A. show. I'm not going to debate on First Take. But the new media, I think when you look at the game of basketball, what's been lost is I can turn on the TV and I can learn about the game of basketball. I can get the X's and O's and the ins and outs and the understanding that there's a game within the game. See, most fans don't understand that there are so many little games within the game, and if you don't understand them, you'll miss them. And so when I said the new media, I'm saying analyzing these things, talking about the game and understanding, giving flowers when flowers is due, and not just trying to bash a guy every chance that I get. Like, no, it's okay to give flowers, because you think about the old day and age, like, guys get mad that we hang together or that we work out together. It's the old mindset. And I feel like in media, we see a lot of that same mindset, and you're criticized with that same mindset. And I don't understand it. And so for me, The new media is simple. It's very simple. It's actually analyzing the game of basketball. It's actually giving those flowers when flowers is due. It's being critical. It's not just saying, oh, man, Steph Curry was great, and when he wasn't great, I'm not going to speak on it. Be very critical. But tell us the whole truth and break down why Steph Curry wasn't great. Don't just tell me Steph Curry was bad, he did this, or you don't say he did this. He was bad, he was terrible, his legacy is going to be hurt and this, that. But why was he terrible? Can you explain that to me? Can you help me, the average fan that don't quite understand on Stephen A's level, he explains, but who don't quite understand on some of the other guys' level, can you help me better understand what you're saying? And I think that's been lost, and what's replaced it is titles and headlines and hot takes for clickbait.
There's a flip side to that story.
Hey, now.
Everything that Draymond Green just said to y'all is total truth. It's just that there's more to it. For example, you could know exactly what you're talking about. And because you're not in that locker room, there's a slew of players that'll never admit it. See, what I believe Draymond Green misses is that he's one of the most authentic, real, honest brothers in professional sports. Let me give you the flip side to you and JJ. JJ is an honest dude, a brilliant mind. Absolutely. Brilliant.
I didn't pay either of these
He did not pay me.
guys
He did not pay me
to
that.
say
He did
these
not pay
nice
me.
things
I'm
about me. I
giving
want to be
him that-
clear on
I'm
that.
giving him that for free. So much so I can tell you right now, there are people who absolutely positively love the ground that JJ walks on. And then there are people that despise him when they watch him on television because they think he's just so arrogant. And I'm going like this. He's incredibly knowledgeable. He knows it. And he's not apologizing for it. I love it. It works for First Take. It works for television. Why would I want him to be any different? But here's the thing. Draymond is all the things that I mentioned, plus outspoken. JJ's the kind of person that, depending on his mood, on a particular day, he'll explain. And on another day, I don't feel like talking to your ignorant ass. Now, he won't say it, but that's his attitude.
I say it with my body language, Stephen A.
There we go. He says it with his body language. And so what happens is, if you know that, understand there's an abundance of people out there who will come and have some semblance of the truth. But if they're not in that locker room with you, and then everyone they walk into ain't Draymond. And so where do you go from there? You're talking about the game. You've talked to the coach. You've talked to other players. You've talked to an executive. You've watched it with your own two eyes. You lean on your level of knowledge from years of watching the sport, and you deduce this opinion. If everyone was like Draymond, Draymond would have, his point would be unimpeachable. The problem is most dudes ain't. And so as a result of it, now you've got the other stuff to lean on. Then there's another point. You do have dudes who paved the way for the Redicks, the Draymonds, and others. Absolutely. They will never admit they pick up the phone or they text and they call Stephen A. and various others, hold them accountable. Say this, say that. Don't let them off the hook. You wouldn't have let us off the hook. Come on now, there's a standard here, blah, 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 blah. So then we sound old school, but what somebody like me, speaking solely for myself in this particular situation, I'm letting the modern day player know this is what they're saying about you. I'm not telling you who. I'm not even saying they're saying it, but I'm looking at y'all like, where the hell you think I get this from? Why the hell would I bring up something from 1985? Why would I bring up something from 1990? That's 30 years ago. Why would I do that? I want y'all to know, listen, there's a standard. When they go and they talk to the league, when they go and they talk to other owners, when they go and they talk to other executives and coaches and scouts and player developmental guys and all of this other stuff, they're saying these things about y'all. And a lot of times, I'd say 90% of the time, it's people within the same locker room, people within the same organization. And so when Snoop Dogg came on my radio show one day, because Snoop Dogg and I have talked on many occasions, obviously, he was like, you ain't selling out, you looking out. That's what he was saying. He's like, you tipping them off about what they did. I was doing a commercial with Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch. And he was like, yo, man, I didn't know you were this cool. I didn't know. Because I said to him, I'm telling y'all, And I don't have everybody's number, and I don't have time to call everybody. But if I say it, I got it from somewhere. And so what I appreciate is guys like him who are smart enough to know, yeah, he doing his homework, but people calling and people saying this stuff, he ain't just blowing smoke, because you can read between the lines. And outside of that, again, when you talk about new media, all of that comes with it. Because see, for me, I love the fact that y'all got podcasts. I love the fact that y'all are making noise. I love the fact that y'all are resonating. But you know what I love most? The fact that y'all ain't scared to talk to somebody like me. In other words, let's get it on. Yes, you got something on your mind? JJ will look me dead in my face. I don't know what the hell you talking about. This makes no sense whatsoever. I'll see you at 10 o'clock. Let's go. That's the way it's supposed to be. And then we end the segment. We smile, give each other a hug. See you tomorrow.